Hi, I'm Kristie Stern, president of Green Mountain Lion Corporation. We're continuing our series on highlighting accomplished women in manufacturing, and we traveled to Columbus, Indiana to sit down with Erica Baird, who is the executive director of global sales and service for Cummins. Now, Erica started in humble beginnings, but she has kept that humility as she has watched her departments become successful and the people in her orbit rise. Now, you won't hear this in the next 12 minutes, but while Erica continued to rise in the corporate ladder, she also managed to raise 18 foster children. When it comes to pouring into other people, Erica not only talks the talk, she walks the walk.
Erica, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to get to know you over the past couple of years, and I really appreciate you taking time to sit down and let us really get to know you better.
Well, I'm excited to be here because I know you're passionate about the industry I'm passionate about, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of the industry, I'd love to hear a little bit about what got you interested in the industry and how did you get to where you are today?
Well, when I grew up in a town, and the largest employer in the city was a manufacturing employer. And so for me, I always wanted to work at that company. And when I was young, I thought I would work in the factory. I just didn't see any leaders who looked like me. Mm-hmm. And what changed was I was at a program and a leader who looked like me came and spoke. And when that happened, I said, not only am I going to not work at the factory, I'm going to get an education. I'm going to work in the office. I'm going to rise, and I'm going to take people with me.
Okay. And so then after high school, it was college, right?
Yes, I went off to college, got a degree in engineering, and started working in technical sales. I actually worked in the mining side of the business first, and so I worked in the field, worked in maintenance, scheduling, and from there I decided I want to go back and work for the company that's selling to the mines because they were global and it gave me a bigger opportunity for growth. They were in my hometown, so that opened up a lot of doors for me. When I came out of school in engineering, I said, I can't sit at a desk all day. I love people. I love pouring into people. People poured into me. I love being out, understanding what the customer's needs are, and then coming back and figuring out how we could meet them. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I moved from engineering to the technical sales side of the business.
Your passion for people is so apparent, and that's one of the many things I love about you.
I just believe that great leaders leave a legacy, and your legacy is the people you leave standing when you leave, because that's how companies are sustainable. That's how companies grow. That's how companies win. So people poured into me, so I cannot not pay it forward.
Right. I'd love to hear about some of your mentors and some game-changing times in your life.
I would say the biggest game changers were when white men had the courage to say, I'm going to take on and sponsor a woman.
Wow.
And there is an article that was done by Kaleidoscope that said it was always a glass ceiling for women. And another part of the article said if it was a glass ceiling for women, it was a concrete ceiling for women of color. Mm-hmm. And so it took someone in the room above you with a jackhammer who was willing to remove all the barriers. And I think that made a difference, is that he saw in me that I was capable, and he was willing to invest, pour into me, and remove obstacles from my success. And that's why I'm so passionate about it now. And I think when I think about diversity, that's why I'm so passionate about white men are a part of diversity. Yes. If it was not for them, I wouldn't be me. I would not be standing where I am today because the industry was full of men. Mm-hmm. And so I just think that that's a critical aspect of it. In some ways, when you think about what societal norms were, it was a man's industry. Yeah. It isn't anymore, but that's because men open the door and let us in. And so I think about that all the time, and how do you make that impact? And I think the critical part was I produced the results, right? Everyone was afraid that if women got into the business, they wouldn't be able to produce the results that were needed. We produced the results. That's why we're here. And I think that when I look back over my career, when I look back over the career of my peers, the women who rose through the ranks with me, I can see my legacy, I can see their legacy, I can see our footprints all over the world. And if people doubt you, just don't allow them to make you doubt yourself. Doubt your doubters, don't doubt yourself.
Erica, that comes from someplace deep. I mean, really deep. If you're open to it, I'd love to hear more. Where does that come from for you?
I think it comes from every role I took, every role for people I have mentored, I've seen them take. It's always constantly proving yourself over and over again. Even if you succeeded in the last role, I always had to reprove myself in the new role. And I continue to see that in the industry. You know, there's the old saying that diversity is being invited to the dance, but inclusion is being asked to dance. And I think that it is really the game changer. If I think back, I remember early in my career, I got assigned a mentor, and he was a white male leader, and he wanted me about as much as I wanted him. I did not want him, and he did not want me. But to this day, he's one of the people I admire most. When we started talking at the core of who we were, we both went in with misconceptions. We both had the same values. We wanted the same things for our family. We both managed our money the same way. We both had the same belief system. Everything about us was the same. And I hated to admit it, but it was. And I know it killed him to admit it, but we liked each other.
Oh,
and
that's fantastic.
And that's what is so important about inclusion, is that at the core, people want the company to win. We all want the company to win. We all want to have a good life. And so it's really, we're the same people underneath it all. But you have to have the relationships and the interactions to be able to say, I do think I like her, or I do think I like him.
As a female, sometimes, you know, family burdens can take a toll, where personal lives kind of suffered. It's just a lot. How do you balance personal and professional?
What's important to us, we do. And so I think back to continuing to learn was important to me. Mentoring was important to me. My giving back in the community was important to me. Making sure that I was building into myself so that I could rise. All of that was important to me. So what I had to give up were the things that I felt I used to love to do, just sit and watch veg out on TV. But I didn't have the time or the capacity to do all of that. So I had to start saying, what can I cut out so that I can do the things that are going to leave an impact? And I think that that's critical, is if you're committed to leaving a legacy, there's some things you just don't get to do anymore. And actually, I don't miss them.
Yeah.
And the higher you rise, I think the more important it is that you prioritize things.
At your level, I hear about travel and all the things, and it's just go, 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 go. What do you do to relax?
Well, I do still like a good spa day. And I love to read. And so I try to, every month, I'll read a book that is about being a better person. So whether it's a spiritual book, whether it's a health type of book, whether it's a mental health type of book, and then I'll read a business book a month. So I love to read.
Okay, you know what question is coming next. What's one of your favorite books?
The Heart of Leadership. is actually one of my favorite business books.
Okay.
Because it really talks about caring about people. I think that's the game changer. I think authenticity in leadership is the game changer when people know that you're real and you care about them. If people know that you care about them, they care about you and they care about the company. Because people don't quit a company, they quit a leader. And so a leader that cares about them inspires them to be the best.
It just seems like you don't get to the top and be an effective leader, a sponsor, without having gone through some stuff yourself.
And I think what makes you a better leader is sharing that. So one of the things I try to be as a leader is courageously authentic. And then I try to lead with purposeful inquiry, really ask questions that help them come up with their solutions. And then I try to be an advocate for all people. Am I, if you're working for me, giving you what you need to succeed? Am I pouring into you? Am I helping you win? And am I making the company better because you're there?
Is there anything in our conversation that you had hoped I would ask or that you would like to share?
I think that you asked all of it. I think if I was, again, to say anything to women, since we're talking about women in the industry, I say go for it. And if one company doesn't let you do it, look for one who does. I work at a company where my CEO is a woman, and I never thought I would see that before. I died, actually. But man, am I proud to say that not only does she have a seat at the table, but so do I, and so do so many others. And the reality is we're sitting right in front of a sign that talks about powering women. It has been a proven fact that if you go into a community and you raise the women, women will raise everyone in the community. And that's what women leaders bring to the table, is they care about everyone. And when you have been on the outside, you know what it feels like to be on the outside. So you make sure that no one feels like an outsider. So
I love that.
Go for it, girl.
Erica, you are such a special person. That spark inside of you and that passion for people, I know exactly why you are where you are, and I can't wait to keep watching all of your success.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to spend time with me. I was so excited when you reached out to me because I watch you on the board and I just see the great things that you do. So thank you for all you do for women and for all people in the industry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.